Hey everyone, this is Teresa from Base 10 Montessori, and today we are going to do our final video on the bells. If you're new to this channel, we've already covered the other lessons on the bells, and if you're looking for a free lesson manual on how to do the Montessori bells, I will put the link to this down in the comment section below. It's going to take you to my locals page where I have posted this for free. You do need a locals account in order to access this, but it is a free lesson manual on the bells. So we've already covered the first couple of lessons, the introduction to the bells. I've gone over the language for the bells, the memory games for the bells, and also matching games. So if you want to go back and watch those videos, I'll put a link to the playlist down below in the comment section as well. And as usual, I try to put time codes in my videos so you can jump around to the part of the video that interests you the most. So be sure to look either in the description box or in the video to look for those time codes so you can easily navigate throughout the video. Before we can actually play the game, we have to do a bell check. And now that we've done that, we're going to start our first grading lesson. So right here, I have our manipulative bells all mixed up out of order. And back here, we have our control bells. And for this lesson, we're only going to be using the very first one. And the rest of the time, we're going to be working with the manipulative bells. But when we're all done putting these in sequence, putting them in order, grading them, we're going to check our work with the entire set of control bells. But for the actual exercise, we are only going to use this first one. We're going to tell our student, I am looking for the very first one. Let's see if these two match. Nope, that doesn't match. So if this first one doesn't match the control bell, we're going to put it at the end of our line, and we'll find its place in the sequence later. Let's do this next one and see if it matches. Nope, that's not a match. Let's put this one to the end of our line, and we'll need to move our line forward so that we have enough room to work. So now let's check this one and see if it matches the very first one. Those don't match. All right, move this back. Let's try the next one. Yes, we found the very first one. So we can put this in order starting right here. Now we need to find the next one. Remember, this isn't a matching game at this point. At this point, it's a grading game. So we're not going to use our control bells to match the next one. We're simply going to listen to this first bell and see if we can figure out which one comes next. So let's try this first one again and see if this one is next in the order. Nope, that doesn't sound right. Let's try the next one. I think that could be it. Let's try that one, and we'll see at the very end if I was right. Now we have to find the next one, but let's move our line up a little bit. All right, so let's see if we can find the next one. That doesn't sound right. I'm going to move this one to the back. Let's try the next one. No, that doesn't sound right. Let's move that one to the back. And I'm moving our line forward once again. Now let's try this one. That's definitely not the right one. Let's put that one to the back. All right, let's try the next one. No, that's not right. All right, moving our line up again. Now let's see if this one is the next one. That's definitely not right. Let's try the next one. Yes, you know what? I think that is the next one. Let's put that one right there. All right, now let's see if we can find the next one. Do you think that one's the next one? I think it might be the next one. Let's put it there and see if it makes sense when we're all done. Okay, so now we have our next one. Oh, that's definitely not the next one. Let's move that. All right, we moved our line down. We don't have many bells left. Let's see if this one is the next one. That doesn't sound right. Let's move it back. Let's try the next one. That's not right. Let's move it to the back. Let's try this one. You know what? Yeah, I think that is the next one. Let's try that one. Okay, let's move our line down and let's try to find the next one. Nope, not that one. Let's move it to the back. Let's try this one. Nope, not that one. Let's try this one next. Yeah, that one sounds right. Let's try it there. Let's see if that's right. All right, I hope this one's the next one because we're running out of choices. Yes, that is the next one. All right, this should be the last one. Let's see if it sounds right. All right, so we have now graded the bells. And when we're done with that, we can always check by seeing if it matches the control bells. And now we can move on to the second grading lessons. So the second grading lesson is going to be just like the first grading lesson without the first step. So we're going to do the same thing, right? We'll do our bell check. Once we've done our bell check, we're going to mix up the blue set of bells. And if you're using the Montessori bells, those are the brown bells. In Montessori, the control bells would be white and the manipulative bells would be brown. But for my set of bells, it's blue and red. So we're going to mix up our manipulative set of bells just like we did before, but this time we are not going to use this first control bell. So before we get started, let me mix up our bells one more time. So now we're ready to find our lowest bell. Let's start with the first two and see which one is the lowest. So this one is lower. We're going to keep this one and put this one to the side because that one we know is not the lowest one. Let's try the next two bells. This one is higher, so we know it's not this one. Let's try the next two bells. This one is definitely not the lowest. Let's put it over here. And now we can try the next two bells. This one's lower. Let's put that one to the side. Nope, this one's higher. Now we only have two bells left. Let's see between these two, which one is lower. This one's way too high. Let's put that one aside. And now we only have one bell left to check. This one was higher, so we're going to move that one to the side. And now we know that this is the first bell. It is the lowest. So that one goes first. And then I'm going to put all my other bells back into a line. And so now we can go through this lesson just like we did for the last lesson. We found the first one, and then we're going to say just like in the last lesson, now we need to find the next one. So at this point, we're going to go back and repeat the first grading lesson. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not going to demonstrate the first lesson again. You can just go back and rewatch that. And with that being said, let's move on to the third grading lesson. So the third grading lesson actually starts out where the second grading lesson leaves off. So in order to start the first grading lesson, we're going to do exactly like we did with the second grading lesson, and we're going to find the lowest one. And once you find that lowest one, you can start your line. So we're going to go through all of our bells and figure out which one's the next one in the sequence, which is just like the first grading game. So we can find our second bell, right? And this is where it's different. So in order to find this next bell that goes right here, we can't use the whole scale. We can only use the bell that comes before it. So that's why it's called in isolation. Now by hearing that, let's see if we can find the next one. That doesn't sound like the next one. Let's move this one to the back. Let's try this one. I think that could be the next one. Let's try that one. And so you're going to move forward just like this in isolation. Now we need to find the next one, but we can only use this bell to help us find it. Let's see if we can do it. That doesn't sound like the next one. We're going to rotate it back and bring forward the next one. That still doesn't sound like the next one. Okay, let's try the next one. I think that could be the next one. And so once you go through this, keep going until you've reached the end, and then you can check the order. Let's see if all of my years of playing in band class has paid off. Let's see if I got it right. Did I do it right? Did I get them in the correct order? If we're still not sure, we have our control bells and we can check. So those are the 3 grading lessons. First of all, we grade starting by using that matching game to find our first one. The second grading lesson, we're doing the same thing, except we don't use this first bell to help us match. We have to go through all the bells and find the lowest one, and then we can start grading, and we can grade all the way up the scale, starting with middle C and going all the way up. The third grading lesson is grading in isolation. We have to find the lowest one first, and then we only do 2 at a time. So we're going to grade only using the one before it. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave a comment down below, and I will always try to make a video to clarify what I'm talking about or answer any questions. So if you like this video, if you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to give this a thumbs up, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.